All right, today we are going to be reading Chapter 2 of Box of Shocks. Let's get started. For the next couple of weeks, the Box of Shocks is on my mind every day. Whenever I'm sure Mom and Dad won't barge into my room, which isn't very often, I pry off the wooden panel in the back of my closet, carefully slide the box out of its hiding spot, and place it gently on my bed. Each time I open the lid, I do it slowly. I take a deep breath, inhaling the musty air. I stare down into the empty box and think, what should I put in my box of shocks? Maybe snack food. Not the healthy, whole grain, sugar-free snack food Mom gives me that tastes like dog food. I'll keep snacks in my box that actually taste good. No, using the secret box to hide junk food isn't good enough. If I'm going to keep a secret from my parents, it has to be a really, really shocking one. It has to be something that would shock their eyeballs right out of their heads and make their hair stand up on end. If they ever saw what was in my box, smoke would drift from their eyes and maybe even their nostrils. The problem is, I can't think of anything shocking enough. Everything changes on October 29th. When we're all eating supper together, Mom says, "Are you and your friends going trick-or-treating on Halloween this year?" As soon as Mom mentions trick-or-treating, I know exactly what I'm going to put in my box of shocks. "Of course we're trick-or-treating," I reply, "and please don't give me the speech about being too old." "It's okay, Ollie. We'll leave that up to you and your friends to make that decision," Dad says. "Then why did you ask me?" "Well, normally you spend weeks getting your costume together, but this year you haven't mentioned a thing about it," Mom says. "I've been too busy. Too much schoolwork, I guess. Anyway, I can always be a ghost." "You don't want to use your costume from last year?" Mom says. "Yeah, I thought the headless insurance salesman costume was one of your very best. Very scary," says Dad. "It doesn't really matter," I say. Mom and Dad look at each other a little surprised. Until this year, my Halloween costume has been a really big deal. I've always tried to be something no one in the history of Halloween has ever been before, like a giant talking turkey, or a punk penguin, or a headless insurance salesman. But this year, I don't care about my costume. I've got something much, much more important to think about. On Halloween night, Mom hauls an old white sheet out of the linen cupboard. Dad helps me cut eye holes in the right places. I look at myself in the mirror and I can think of only one word: lame. This has to be the lamest costume I have ever worn for Halloween. And that even includes the year I dressed up as a cowboy when I was 3. As Mom hands me my pillowcase loot bag, I'm thinking about my plan for tonight. The ghost costume doesn't seem to matter so much anymore, especially when she and Dad give me the usual trick-or-treating speech as I head for the door. "There are 4 things we want you to remember, Oliver," Mom says. "It's okay, Mom. I'll be careful on all of the stairs. I'll watch out for mean dogs, and I'll be sure to check the candy before I eat any." "That's right, Ollie," Dad says, putting a hand on my shoulder and staring into my ghost eye holes. "But there's one more thing, more important than all the others. You and your buddies are not to go near the Milburn house." I know. You tell me the same thing every year. "And we mean it every year," Mom says, "especially this year after the stories we've heard." "What stories?" I say. Dad shakes his head and says, "You are absolutely forbidden to go near that place." "Promise me you won't go there, Oliver," Mom says. "I'll be fine, Mom," I say, and I take off down the stairs. At least I didn't lie. I always go trick-or-treating with my friends Reggie, Carl, and Grayson. This year there's a problem. For my top secret plan to work, I have to go alone. My friends can't come with me. All of their parents are friends with Mom and Dad. If one of them blabbed something about what I did on Halloween night, in no time flat, Mom and Dad would know. My secret would be out. It would spoil everything. As soon as I'm out of sight of the house, I duck into a back alley and stash my ghost costume behind a garbage can. Next, I run down to the end of the block where my buddies are waiting. This year, Reggie is an alien vampire. Carl's wearing an inflatable sumo suit, and Grayson's got his Uncle Elvis's costume. When they see me, Reggie says, "Hey, where's your costume?" "My parents figure I'm too old for trick-or-treating, so they're making me stay home," I say. I kick at a rock, trying to show how mad I am about it. "You're kidding," says Carl. "That's so stupid." "I know," I say, "but that's my parents for you." "We'll go to a few extra places tonight and save some candy for you," Grayson says. "Sure, that'd be great," I say. "Anyway, I better get going. Mom wants me to wash the floor tonight. Have fun, guys." I don't like lying to my friends, but I have no choice. I watch my friends head off into the night, and then I turn back to the alley. For a second or two, I kind of wish I was going with them. I'll miss stuffing my face with candy morning, noon, and night for the next week. But then I think of my box of shocks. My plan for tonight is so much bigger and better than running around and begging for candy. It's also way more dangerous. I dig my ghost costume out from behind the garbage can and put it on. I head over to Locke Drive and hang a left on Riker Boulevard. I'm not worried about running into my friends. They always do the same route every year. The one where the houses aren't too far apart and there aren't any steep hills. That way they get the most candy in the shortest amount of time. Plus, they never dare go where I'm going. So here I am, standing on the sidewalk in front of the Milburn house. I'm a little nervous, I admit, but I feel a bit braver knowing that my parents would be freaking out right now if they knew where I was. And they would be double freaking out if they knew what I was about to do. I open the twisted wire gate at the end of the walkway and step into the yard. I've heard plenty of rumors about the Milburn house. Someone at school told me that most of the kids who go trick-or-treating there never make it out alive. If they do escape, they are usually missing an arm or a leg. Plus, the treats they get are things like toxic waste suckers and apples with exploding razor blades. I've never talked to anyone who's actually gone trick-or-treating here, but the stories sound pretty creepy. I try to stay calm, but my ghost costume's quivering because my knees are shaking so hard. I squeeze my fingers tightly around my loot bag, take 3 deep breaths, and start walking up the path towards the front door. I've ridden past this house on my bike a few times during the day. The front yard is mostly dirt and weeds with rusty shopping carts shoved into the bushes and mangled barbecue lying on the side. But at night, especially Halloween night, the place seems way more spooky. Give me a graveyard any day over this place. The walkway has thistles growing up through cracks in the cement, and the front steps are mostly broken and rotten. I can't see any lights on in the house, only a dull glow coming from somewhere deep inside. I carefully climb the rotting steps and edge closer to the door. I take 3 more deep breaths. It would be easy to turn back, but instead I say under my breath, "Here goes nothing." And I give the door 3 sharp knocks. My tongue feels like dry and sandpaper. When I try to shout out, "Trick or treat," I sound like a parrot with laryngitis. I wait. As I wait, every few seconds I look behind me just in case something might be sneaking up from behind. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Maybe they have a pet boa constrictor that hasn't been fed in a few months. Or maybe there's a giant black widow spider or wild dogs with rabies. It doesn't hurt to keep an eye out. I listen for the sound of someone coming to the door. At first there's nothing, but then I hear a thumping sound. It turns out to be my own heart. I should run for my life, but I don't. I just stand there, squeezing my pillowcase so tightly the palms of my hands are getting all sweaty. Maybe no one's home. Maybe no one even lives here. But then I hear something, and it's coming from inside the house. An uneven thump, thump, pause. Thump, thump, pause. It's getting louder. That means it's getting closer to the front door. A voice in my head screams, run, run, run. That would be the smart thing to do. I could catch up with Reggie, Grayson, and Carl and make it a normal Halloween night. But I can't leave empty-handed. I've got to get something for my box of shocks. This is no time to run off like a headless chicken. I see the doorknob slowly turn, and then the door starts to move. It opens very slowly, the hinges creaking and groaning like they haven't moved in 100 years. The door opens a few inches and then stops. Okay, what now? I wait a few more seconds, then, sliding out through the gap in the doorway, comes a pale, skinny arm with a bony hand. Gnarled fingers with yellow, cracked fingernails holding a Halloween candy wrapped in orange plastic. What is this thing? My first guess is zombie. With an arm like that, what else could be holding this candy but a genuine real-life zombie? There are other possibilities, like some weird science experiment gone totally wrong. This could be Frankenstein's ugly cousin, or maybe Dracula's great-grandma. Who knows? Who cares? This is exactly what I came for, exactly what I hoped for. I just have to get the guts to open my loot bag and hope the creepy hand drops the candy in. My hands are shaking as I hold the pillowcase out. Closer, closer, closer. I brace myself, ready to run for my life if the door suddenly opens and something comes after me with a machete or a chainsaw or a big set of fangs. Very slowly, the gnarled fingers uncurl and the candy drops into my loot bag. I pull the bag back with a jerk, spin around and leap from the top step all the way to the bottom. My feet barely touch the ground as I charge down the walkway. Don't ask me why, but I stop. Glancing back, I see the door still open. The gangly arms still hanging out. The bony hands look like a drooping flower. Thank you, I shout. Very slowly, the hand lifts and gives me a wave. Yes, it's definitely a wave. Do zombies wave? I wonder. Would Frankenstein's ugly cousin brother wave? Ooh. Whatever it belongs to, the hand slides back in and the door closes with a thud. I head for the sidewalk, only now I'm not running. I could go up the next street and catch up with Carl, Reggie, and Grayson. I could stay out and collect a huge bag of candy, but I don't. I head for home because I have everything I need. As I come through the back door, I find Mom and Dad in the kitchen filling bowls with candy. Back so soon? Mom says. Yeah, I figure maybe I'm finally too old for this trick-or-treating stuff. Dad smiles and nods. We knew you'd reach that decision on your own. As I head up the stairs, Mom calls, Not so fast, Oliver. Did you make sure to check your candy? I didn't get any candy, I say, closing the door. This is not exactly a total lie. Sure, I collected one candy, but I'm not going to eat it. I have bigger plans for my treat from the Milburn house. I brace a chair against the door just in case Mom gets suspicious. Heading to my closet, I push the clothes aside and pull the panel off the back wall. When I reach into the hiding place, I smile as I feel the smooth wooden box. Slowly sliding it out, I cradle it in my hands as I gently pull it down on my bed. I pry open the lid and take a whiff of the musty air, wafting out of the empty box. It smells so good. I reach into my loot bag, pick the candy up, and carefully place it into the middle of the box. Shock number 1, I whisper. From now on, whenever I open my box of shocks and see that candy, I'll remember the night of terror when I risked my life trick-or-treating at the Milburn house. Best of all, no one, including my parents, will ever know but me. I take the box back to my closet and slide it into its hiding place. I put the panel back into place and step out of the closet, closing the door behind me. Oliver, have you brushed your teeth yet? Mom calls from the bottom of the stairs. I was just heading to the bathroom, I reply. This is not a lie. Usually I hate brushing my teeth, but not tonight. Brushing my teeth gives me time to think without Mom or Dad interrupting. It gives me time to think about what my next adventure will be. What else can I add to my box of shocks? And that's the end of chapter 2. I'll see you guys again later for chapter 3. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.